Heyo, folks! Today we are talking about a case I came upon after my coverage or during my coverage of the Delphi case. Where, well, if you've seen my coverage of it, you know my opinion about the absolute incompetence and sometimes evilness in order to compensate for their incompetence of the investigators, the prosecution, and the judge. The case I came upon was the Flora Four. And this case, a quadruple homicide, who has been ignored by basically the same investigators that screwed up the Delphi case. Let's talk about it. Yeah, so the Flora Four. Kiana, Kiara, Kerili, and Kiani died in an arson late 2016. And early on, it became clear that this was not a fire that started naturally. There were initially some findings of accelerants that was later deemed, at least, not correct. Then it was something about a malfunctioning fridge. This case settled in civil court last year in 2020. Oh, in 2023. So not last year, where the landlord settled for an undisclosed amount due to, according to the initial civil suit, unsafe environment, malfunctioning smoke detectors, and so on and so forth. So, for an undisclosed amount of money, for me, well, as it is today, that is sadly the only justice for the mother of the Flora Four, what she can get. And why is that? Well, because they chose to live in Delphi, Indiana, where cops are incompetent. Now, I have looked through some of these stuff. So I have the civil case, I have miscellaneous, I have the reports, suspect witnesses, whistleblower letters, the 911. I've read through this, and for me, the only reason why there isn't a suspect currently serving time for I would say manslaughter, at least manslaughter, or maybe reading through all of this, yes, I think I would at least manslaughter charges, because it is clear to me that the cops had a good suspect. But then what happened is probably what happened in the Delphi trial. One of the incompetent cops decided to interview via the read technique. And the read technique, when used as they do in Delphi, Indiana, is only good if you encounter a person with a conscience. Who cares? And even then, they apply it wrong. I had a discussion with attorney Steve Gosney about it, and I do not agree with him that used properly, the read technique can do good. I have yet to encounter a good appliance, a case where the read technique is applied well. Every single one I encounter is a false confession, because it's all about wearing people out. Now, what I believe happened when they interviewed the witnesses and the suspect in the Flora Four is that this suspect didn't react the way the Delphi cops expected of a person who shows guilt. So they let him go. And with that, more or less destroyed every possibility for the Flora Four to get actual justice. And it is, I can't overstate this enough, but seriously, 4 girls died in an arson late 2016, and it won't be solved technically, thanks to the incompetence of Delphi cops or Carroll County cops. Looking at as something as easy as the reports and the Indiana, I mean, it's just really, really bad. Really, really bad. And whoever made these interviews, let's see here. I have the name Greg Edwards here, who is an author of some of the documents. Ben Rector, P. Alt, Adam Bafides. I do not know how, because I recognize some of these names. Ben Rector. I mean, I recognize some of these names as being also in the outskirts of the murders of Abby and Libby. And if this is the best they can do, you need to quit your job immediately. Leave it to I mean, you could put a trash can filled with feces from a farm, and they would do a better job than these people. It is absolutely horrifyingly bad work. And that is why, from reading it, a clear suspect, in my opinion, why they will not face criminal justice. It is so utterly, utterly bad. And I do believe the underlying and what connects these two cases, the homicide of the Flora Four and the murders of Abby and Libby, is that people who believe too much of themselves were in charge, spiced with a good amount of the white supremacy that is very, very prominent in that community. The reason Flora 4 will not get justice in Carroll County is because something they couldn't do anything about. They cannot get justice because they are black. Thank you for listening in. Until next video or stream, have a good one. Hug your family. Unless your family is crap, then screw them and give your love to the people who deserve it. All right, see ya. Bye-bye.